Welcome to Brunching with Franco, the only show that keeps you up to date and in the know about everything that's going on in the tri-state area. Franco brings you the latest in fashion trends, the newest and hottest restaurants, and you'll always get the scoop about what's happening in the news and entertainment world. Everything you want to know, brought to you by the Italian Tribune's 2015 Young Italian Entrepreneur. He's an actor, producer, philanthropist, restaurateur, and your host, Franco Porporino.
Good afternoon. We are live from AM 970, The Answer's headquarters in Lower Manhattan. Thank you for tuning in with Brunching with Franco. We have a very exciting show with you today. We have my dear friend Steve Martorano that's going to be joining us shortly from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I hope it's nice and warm there because myself, my producer Mary, and my friend Ali's in the studio today. And we're actually have a couple of scarves wrapped around our neck, right? So, from South Philly, the Rocky Balboa of the culinary world, the inventor of the world-famous eggplant stack with his very own cookbook, his own tomato sauce, cuz, although he calls it gravy, the one, the only, my cuz, Steve Martorano. Welcome to the show.
What's up, cuz? How you doing?
How are you doing, pal?
One day at a time, cuz. One day at a time.
One day at a time. It sounds like you're still sleeping. Would you have a long night at Martorano?
Yeah, cuz we didn't get out of it till like 4 in the morning. By the time you come home, you unwind and your mind keeps going. We don't fall asleep till about 6.
Well, I don't know about you. I see your posts going up like at 4:35 in the morning, so you don't sleep. You're like me.
No.
Brilliant.
First of all, let me just say congratulations on your success. God bless you, and I'm very, very honored to be your friend.
Oh, listen, Steve. You know what? We have a lot of similarities together. We both believe in a very religious saint, and I'm going to mention him on the air, Padre Pio. I know that you and I believe in him. He's
The best.
The best, right, cuz?
Yeah, the best.
Absolutely. And I know that you're a big supporter as far as charities are concerned and everything like that, so I'm really excited to have you on the show today.
Thank
But
you.
let's get started on the sit-down, as us Italians call it. You know, we don't have gatherings. We call them sit-downs. So why don't we tell everyone how you came from working out of a basement in South Philly to having your own name in lights next to the world-renowned Gordon Ramsay?
Because we ain't got enough time for
No, we have enough time. We have enough time today. We made sure that we made this a special segment for you.
Just a regular guy from South Philly, but, you know, a street guy. And I made my money on the street, and that was my world. And, you know, there were certain people that you idolize.
What do you mean the street? You mean like, you know, selling chiclets, or, I mean, what do you mean the street?
And I don't know about this show, cuz, so how deep you want to get.
No, we'll leave it at that.
But, you know, I did whatever I had to do to earn money on the street, because it was an easy way to earn money. And guess what? You know, you looked up to certain guys in the neighborhood, guys who had nice cars, guys who had money, guys who had women. You wanted to be like them for no other reason, the truth, about respect. So you wanted to have that respect. When you walked into a joint, you know, all heads bowed, you know, and you wanted that. And that's what the guy like me, we didn't have many options. And that was one of my options. Didn't like school, didn't study, couldn't sing and dance. So what else can you do? Do what you can.
Listen, I don't know about you, but every time I come to Cafe Martorano, I see you dancing behind over there, where you got your little, you got a Mac screen where you're making a fresh mozzarella with the DOP olive oil over there. It looks like a 52-inch Sony.
It is.
And you play
my music.
That's it.
Well,
you got.
That's all my music. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's how I got started in Philly, was, you know, on the street. But then, you know, a lot of your friends were getting clipped. A lot of guys going to jail, and it was like, the end result wasn't really a pretty picture. And so I said, well, what else can I do? You know, but I love music. So I used to spin music in all the nightclubs in Cherry Hill, in Philly, and I wanted to be a record producer. But, you know, that was a lot of money, so I couldn't do that. So what else can you do? So I like food.
So what did you do? You started making ham and egg sandwiches in the basement.
Nah, forget about it. Crazy ham and eggs. Italians don't eat ham and eggs. We made
little prosciutto, little super sad.
I made a hoagie, some cheesesteaks, and I would knock on people's doors and sell them. I did that for 5 years. You know, I had no rent to pay, no electric to pay. My mother was helping me with the dishes. She was answering the phone. So
you had like a Steve Martorano hotline.
It was a speakeasy, to tell you the truth.
It was.
Yeah. But anyway, so listen, but I did it, right? I did it that way. And
Steve, how old were you when you started that?
24.
Did you have your Cavaricis and the Red Travel Fox back then?
No, not really, cuz.
You didn't have that?
No.
You had the link, though, the gold chain and all that, right?
I had all that, yeah. I had the cross, always had a cross, St. Christopher. You know, I had my earring, took a beating for that, but I had my earrings in my ear back then, yeah. But music was my passion, and that's what I wanted to do, so I couldn't do it, so I sold sandwiches. And then I saved enough money to open up a little joint in a Jewish neighborhood. Now, me and you both know that the Jewish people are the ones that keep the Italian restaurants in business. You know that, and I know that.
Maybe so down in South Philly.
Well, yeah, in South Philly they do. So, but I opened up in Northeast Philadelphia. It was a big Jewish clientele, and they supported me. It was great. But then the economy went sour. The Iraqi war hit. I lost everything, bro. When I say I lost everything, I was stone broke.
I didn't know that. So that's how you made the transition from South Philly to Florida?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I sold everything. I had like $70,000 in my pocket. I went to Florida knowing one person. I put a down payment on a house because I had 2 kids and my mother. No furniture. Everybody sat on beach chairs. I had a bed for my mother. Everybody else slept on the floor because we had no money. When I opened up my joint in Fort Lauderdale, had 5 tables. Now, forget about that. Let's go back real quick. We're going to go back real quick. I came to Florida first to look around, and I didn't like what I saw. Everybody was in bed early. I said, forget about it. I'm going back home to Philly. On my way back home to Philly, never to go back to Florida. On my way, never to come home. This one guy I knew said there's a little place across the street for sale. Go look at it. On my way to the airport, cause never coming back to Florida, I looked in the window, had 5 tables and 1 stove.
And that's where Cafe Martorano is today still, correct?
If that didn't happen, my whole life would be completely different.
Really?
But it was meant to be. See, to me, I don't believe in coincidences. It was meant for me to be there. I saw it, went home, came back, I moved. But when I opened my doors, I only had $40 and 1 credit card. That's all I had. If I couldn't make payroll. It was me, the 2 other people. If I couldn't make payroll, I had to go to a credit card. But I never had to do that from day one. And God's blessed me on that.
You know what? You deserve all the success that's coming your way because you really are one guy that even with all the success that you have with 4 restaurants, we're going to get into that, your cooking book and all the shows and appearances you're making with Jimmy Kimmel and I know with Mario Lopez and all that, you deserve all the success that you get because you're a guy that still grinds it out to 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I know that for a fact because when I come visit you there, you're still behind the line, you know, with your...
Because every day, 7 days a week. I've had a vacation of 14 years. And people say to me, why do you do this? I say, because being why? That's just all I know. Like a lot of people go, look what you created. I said, because I got into the food business because I had to pay bills. I didn't get into this for glamour, to be on TV. This is all just a blessing to me. All I needed, I had 2 kids. I had to put food and a roof over their head. So that's why I had to go to work. So I'm a blue-collar worker that my father went to work every day. So I go to work every day. I don't have to. I could stay home or travel, but I enjoy what I do. And when you lose that enjoyment, then it's time to travel. Right now, I still enjoy what I created, nothing and turning into something. That's to me still astonishes me, you know, when I look at it. And I got 4 joints and 2 more coming. It's like, how's that happen?
That's another thing. We're going to touch on that. You know, I know that you have 4 restaurants, I believe. Why don't you tell the listeners exactly where they are? I know the flagship is in Fort Lauderdale, Cafe Martorano. So how many do you have currently right now?
Right now we got 4. So we're in Fort Lauderdale for 26 years. My second one was at the Hard Rock, and that's in Hollywood, Florida. And then we're in Paris and Vegas, and we're in Atlantic City at Harrods. Atlantic City, cuz, is supported by New York. New York, if you're listening, cuz, thank you. Thank you. Supported, unbelievable.
You know what's amazing is that, you know, from being a restaurateur myself, not a full-time thing, obviously, but, you know what's really nice is that we reciprocate business to one another. A lot of my customers come to my place, and obviously when they're traveling to Florida, I just send them your way. So, you know, we have a really, really great relationship as far as business is concerned as well. As far as the restaurants are concerned, are they all performing up to your standards as far as, you know the Fort Lauderdale?
Nobody will ever be the baby. It's like my firstborn. Oakland Park is my baby. I spend most of my time there. But let me tell you, cuz, I mean, God has blessed me more than I would ever expect. Everyone is doing great. Atlantic City is stupid. Vegas is stupid. We're at Paris and Vegas, and it's like, I got great people around me. I've got great people around me, great managers, great teams, and that understand the brand. We're not for everybody, because, like, I throw people out all the time. You know, like, they come in, they want to tell me they're too hot, they're too cold, it's too loud. I don't want to sit in. Oh, go open up your own restaurant. Get out of here. That's the pride I have in my brand.
Cuz, apply some more of that tanning lotion. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to have you right back on.
I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it, but I love it.
Grab your notebook, because we're back. It's Brunching with Franco, with your host, actor, producer, philanthropist, and restaurateur, Franco Porporino.
Yo, cuz, we are back with Steve Martorano, the celebrity chef from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Stevie boy, you there?
You see when they say your last name, that Italian vowel at the end? It's like music.
You like that, right?
I love it.
You love it. It's like the Maseratis we drive. They purr when we start them.
Yes.
Thanks for coming to holding on. Steve, I want to talk to you about your cookbook. I know that I have one. You personally signed for me. Do you have any other cookbooks? How many do you have right now?
Well, because I've got two. Again, listen, my life has not been easy, and I ain't complaining about it. It made me stronger. I wrote a book about 5 years ago, and it was called Yo Cuz, My Life, My Food, My Way. And I tried to get it published. When I walked into the publishing company, it was like, well, who are you? I says, I'm a guy who's got 3 restaurants. I'm a nobody, but I got a great story. Well, we ain't interested. We got a lot of Sopranos. I said, it's just people tired of writing about the same recipe over and over in every cookbook. I got something different here. Well, we're not really interested. I got up and I walked out. Next thing I did was I self-published this book. Cost me like $50,000. Self-published it. I sold like 4,000 copies in like the first year. And then Random House got it. They read it. Somehow somebody gave it to them. And then they published a new book. So it was like, wow, first you say no, now you want me? And now I have a new book called It Ain't Sauce, It's Gravy.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to debate that, Mignon.
If you're going to go there,
we're going to touch on that a little bit.
All right.
But listen, besides the book, I know you also have a charity, correct, through the Yo Cuz jewelry line?
We it's a give back to the urban kids, just to give back, and I'm changing it to give back to anybody who needs it. Okay. It's hard to say how does one community need something. A lot of people need something. So what we try to do is, with the Yo Cuz brand that I own, which is a Philly saying, if nobody knows what Yo Cuz means, it's like if you see a family member, you'd say, hey, Cuz, how you doing? Or you forget somebody's name instead of saying, I forget your name.
It's
say,
like,
hey, Cuz, how you doing?
Yeah, it's like Donnie Brasco and, when Johnny Depp says, forget about it, those peppers. Right?
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Can mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
Speaking about Yo Cuz, I know when Mary, my producer that's sitting across from me, you were having dialogue and coming on to the show, and I think she said something very...
it goes up my ass, Cuz. Goes up my ass.
No, she said something, no problem, and you taught her how to say thanks, Cuz. So we got her hooked on the Yo Cuz.
She was very polite today. She said thank you. I mean, it bothers me when you say something and someone says no problem. I look at them. We got a problem? Like, you got a problem? Whatever happened to thank you? Just thank you. We don't have a problem, so just say thank you.
You're right.
But she was great at that. She was great.
You're right. She's an unbelievable producer. She's here with me now. Listen, I wanted to mention a couple of things. I know that you've been plugging away with Mario Lopez, and you're doing some, live TV with Jimmy Kimmel. Is there any?
Yeah. We're going back. We're going back on Kimball, hopefully in April, end of April, beginning of May. We're going to try to do a crab gravy, something that nobody's really done on TV before. But you know what I'm really excited? Oh, besides that, we got a spot in Orlando we're looking at now, and a spot in the airports. So look forward to the Martorano brand in airports, especially out in San Francisco and in Miami. But the greatest thing, we got a movie. We wrote a movie.
Am I in it?
Oh, you're in it. Ken Aguado is my writer and producer. We got 2 interests in L.A. right now by 2 production companies about my life story, about never giving up. No matter what happens in life, you just don't give up. And I'm excited. If I can get Van Diesel to play me, cuz, I'll be happy, very happy.
All right, listen, as far as touching on a subject, just very lightly, we're going to touch on it, okay? When you have Thanksgiving dinner and you put the brown stuff on top of the turkey, what is that called? What is it called? I'm just curious.
Your sister's ass. What do you mean, what's it called? It's called, that's called gravy.
Okay, stop now. That's called gravy, right? It's brown. So what is the red stuff you put on the macaroni, as you call it? We call it pasta here.
Well, who's we? Who's we? See, you use that word we. Like
that's very broad.
What does that mean, we?
The people from the Northeast tri-state area, especially
where am I from?
Where I come
from.
Where
am I from? Where am I from?
You're from South Philly. See, we don't call sandwiches hoagies. We call them sandwiches. You call them hoagies. And up here, we call, gravy sauce, because there's, in my mind, it's just conflicting to me. And listen, I believe you as far as the gravy thing. I know a lot of people call it gravy, but I know that this is a topic that everybody wanted me to touch on, especially some of my dear friends that are mutual friends of ours. But just explain to me how you...
Simple.
Go ahead.
Simple, cuz. Simple. And first of all, no matter what, if I went to your mother's house and you told me she's making sauce, I don't care, as long as it's delicious, right? But it's when you grow up. It's how you grow up. Now, to me, every Friday during Lent, you can't eat meat. So my mother would make not marinara, she would make marinara, which would be tomato, basil, and garlic. No meat, very simple.
Yes.
If I'm going to have a clam sauce, it would be called sauce. But when you put something in it, like pork, it becomes a Sunday gravy. When you put meatballs, it becomes a Sunday gravy. If you put chicken, it becomes a chicken gravy. When you put crabs, it becomes a crab gravy. There are words for sauce. There are words for gravy. It's just where you're from. My problem is everybody wants to fight about it.
I'm not fighting about it. Listen, I got nothing but love for you.
Cuz I'm not saying me and you. I get it wherever I go. And gravy's brown. Okay, to you, I get it. It is brown. But when you put braciole, when you put spare ribs, and you put meatballs, and you put sausage, that's a Sunday gravy. That's Sunday sauce. Linguini's got sauce. Marinara's sauce to us in South Philly.
In South Philly.
Simple.
We
like pasta. What do you say, pasta? You say pasta?
Yeah, well, I mean, macaroni to me, it sounds like, those little elbows they throw in pastina.
My mother would say to me, Steve, go to the store, go pick up a pound of macaroni.
But macaroni can mean a lot of things. It can mean penne, linguine, fettuccine.
Right. So it's macaroni. It's not pasta's wrong. You go to Italy, all they do is say pasta. I get it. But I'm from a neighborhood in South Philly. That's what we say. But you can't. Don't put us down for that. That's how we were raised. My mother never said, go buy some pasta. She said, go buy a box of macaroni.
We have a couple minutes left, but listen, here's what I want to ask you. You and I have a lot of similarities as far as how we run our restaurant. I'm going to try to keep some of my thoughts and situations that occurred in my restaurant reserved. But if you had to tell me one of the most, let's say, funniest or craziest stories that you ever had with one of your customers, what would you say it is?
I think right before we went to commercial, because the customer is not always right. Listen, I always say this. I want to go see Sinatra. If he was still singing, I paid $500 for a ticket. My favorite song is Summer Wind. He's not singing Summer Wind. What am I going to stand up and yell? I paid $500. Sing Summer Wind. Just because you're coming in and spending money, don't change what we do. You're coming in for what we do, not for what you want. If you want what you want, open up your own joint. Does that make sense?
Listen, you and I are very similar in that. And, you know what? I believe that, you know, the customers are obviously very important to the restaurant business, because without them, you wouldn't be driving a Bentley. We wouldn't be having the success we have.
I'm not talking about disrespecting them.
No, absolutely not. But, you know, one of the problems I have in my restaurant is because, and I will say, Steve, I owe most of my success to your concept. We are considered the little mini, you know, Cafe Martorano of New Jersey. And, you know, from hosting Cipriani's to not only hosting Cipriani's, but also, you know, having the concept with the supper club after 9 p.m. I have a lot of customers that, you know, that are not used to that. So what they say to me is, can you please lower the music? So, you know, it's a challenge that we have now created the concept where people actually come for that, and they love that. So let's say, for instance, I know what I say to my customers when they come in and they say, excuse me, can you lower the music because we can't hear one another? What is just for comical reasons?
Simple. No, comical, simple. This is what happens at this time of night. If you want something more quieter, you come from 6 to 9:30. You can have all the conversation you want. But I want you to look around you. You see all these people dancing? That's why they're here. And Franco, not for nothing, I've been doing this for 26 years. You can think back 26 years. Let your audience think back. I was the first guy to incorporate a nightclub, not a supper club, a nightclub and a restaurant.
That's very true. That's very true.
First one. 26 years, you can't think of anybody. It's like the meatball. We put that meatball and salad on the map, and people say to me, you know, flattery is the greatest form of being copied is the greatest form of flattery. And I say, I get it. But at least you give me the credit. You'll say the eggplant stack.
Listen, the eggplant stack. Yeah, the eggplant stack. Talking about that on my menu, it doesn't say Fresco's eggplant stack. It says Martorano's eggplant stack.
Because I respect you, and I respect that. That's the kind of guy I want to hang around with. But there's guys out there that think that they created it, and you can't live your life that way.
They call it eggplant tower. They got all sorts of names for it, right?
Yes, this tower, the other tower,
the leaning tower. The leaning tower.
Listen, I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but to me, when I open up a joint, there's so many guys out there have copied me. You know, they copied my whole menu.
Of course they do.
And
they all
copy
do.
The whole concept.
How about real quick? I'm going to say this real quick before we get off the air. A mile and a half down the road from me, 7 months ago, there's another restaurant that's called Fresco that opened up in the same vicinity of mine. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But listen, Steve.
He needs a visit.
Absolutely. He needs a visit. Yeah, we'll go down and have a sit down with him. But listen, I want to thank you for being my guest today. You're not only a dear friend of mine, your success basically, you know, you deserve all of it that comes with it. So I'm going to see you and Marcia soon there in Fort Lauderdale, and I'll probably be coming down with Armand. So thank you for joining me today, Steve, and I will speak to you soon, pal. Thank you. Yo, cuz.
I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it.
Now, back to the show that leaves you hungry for more. It's Brunching with Franco, with your host, Franco Porporino.
You gotta go and get angry at all of my honesty.
Hey guys, we're back. We just got done with a dear friend of mine, Steve Martorano from South Philly, now residing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now on to another good friend of mine, Zach Erdem. Mr. Hamptons himself is sitting with us in the studio. Thanks for coming in, Zach.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Great. So you've been making a lot of noise lately, and my producer said that, you know what, we should have Zach come into the studio today. So thank you for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
We're going to be speaking about some interesting things that you have going on right now.
Yes.
I know that you just made Page 6.
Yes, I did. A couple of days ago, Richard Johnson, I met him at some restaurant. He knew it already. I didn't say anything to him. I was trying to hide it till everything gets to one point, and I have the name and I have the concept ready. But he was already there, so he came up to me. He said that, oh, I heard you're going back home. I said, what do you mean? I'm not going anywhere. I have really a couple of projects going on.
What do you mean back home, though? Back home is what, Hamptons?
Listen, this end. So he was like, no, you know what I'm talking about. I was like, no, Richard, I'm not going anywhere. I am focusing on my new business stuff. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. I was like, I don't know if you guys know that I used to run Nello's. Nello was my home.
Nello Bolano is a dear friend of mine. We spoke about that last week at Philippe Chow.
Yes, at Steve Boxer's restaurant. It's a dear friend of mine. I love him. And So it was like, yeah, I know you're going back home. I said, it was kind of joke, but it was real. So he knew it. He found out someone told him already that I took over Nello's Summertimes in Hampton, which I used to run that place 6 years. So I was excited, and it was like, yeah, it's true. I'm going back home if you mean that way. So basically, I took over Nello's.
So what he was referring to was Nello's Summertime.
Nello's Summertimes.
Because you were previously an employee of Nello.
Yes, I was, and I got fired by
And you got
Nello.
fired, and now you own it.
Now I own it.
How beautiful is that?
It's a feeling is great.
It is great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see that Kool-Aid smile you got on in the studio. It looks great.
Yeah, it's been so long.
So maybe you could call Nello. He could come in and be your host because he's a great host.
Nello actually it sent me messages, and the first day when the Page 6 ran the article, it was one of the first message actually I got from Nello Balan himself, saying that congratulations, I know you're gonna do great there. He knows I know the place better than anyone else.
Listen, Nello's always in the news. Listen, I love him. I go to his restaurant. I have my birthday parties there. I mean, we've had some really, really great times there. I still love him. I don't know what he's doing these days, but I know that he was working on a project. I don't know if that's coming into fruition or not. Have you spoken to him lately?
Yeah, I spoke with him a couple of days ago. Of course, all the projects he's following me very close to now. And I know that he opened a restaurant in Aspen.
Really?
He's doing really good in the Aspen now. And he's planning to come back to his new place, he said, on 58 on between Madison and 5th.
Yeah, he's been working on it some time, correct.
Yeah, they're still working on it, but he's not ready yet. I think he's planning to open end of the summer.
I have to ask you, and I know, but to all the listeners out there, the distinguished accent that you have, where's that from?
I'm from Turkey, like most of the people will know me. And yeah, I was born in Istanbul. Actually, I was born in a small city, and 9-year-old I moved to Istanbul, and I trying to find out my way. Then I ended
found
up
your way
in
become Mr. Hamptons.
And yes, I found out my way in the New York City. I think it's a great city. I've been in LA, Vegas, and Miami. I love Miami actually, but New York is my main headquarter.
Your hometown.
It's my hometown.
How long have you been in the States?
Since 2002.
2002.
Yeah, it's 14 years.
And have you always been in hospitality?
Yeah, since I was a little kid, I was in my mom's kitchen, we were helping her peeling potatoes, onions, and all. And it was always my passion.
So let me ask you a question: do you guys call it sauce or do you call it gravy?
We call sauce.
You call it sauce, too, right? Stevie, if you're still listening, it's 2 for 1 right now. Okay, 2 for 1.
Yes, Steve. Hi, Steve. I met Steve in his restaurant in Fort Lauderdale.
Who hasn't met Steve?
With Michael Lohan. Michael Lohan is a good friend of mine. He took me his place, and it's a great place in Fort Lauderdale.
You know, one of the things I want to talk to you about is your staple restaurant in the Hamptons called 75 Main. I was there not too long ago. I like to go off-season, of course, because it's always crazy there the weekend, so I normally go during the week, during the summer. But one of the things I really want to touch on is, you know, from going to the Hamptons for several years now, restaurants always come and go, nightclubs always come and go.
This is happening anywhere in the world. I mean, Miami, I go, Hamptons is a really difficult game. You've seen Nobu came one season, but Delmonico's, Liz Cirque, all the name restaurant, they came into Hamptons a year or the day after, all disappear. And I seen this, it's been 14 years I've been in the Hamptons.
And we're going to talk about that. That's actually the question I want to lead into. What do you do different that you think that you're so successful and that you've been a staple there for so long? What do you do different that you believe the other restaurateurs that tried to come to the Hamptons and failed? And the big names, like you just mentioned, Liz Cirque and all them?
Yes. And I think main key is my hand is on everything. I love my customers. When you walk in my restaurant, you may not know me. I'm the owner, but I will come even bus your table. I will come bring your food on your table. You don't even know maybe, but you're going to see me on my restaurant.
I've never seen you do that for me, though. Can you do that for me next time?
You're my friend.
Can you bring like a bottle of mimosa and pour it for me?
Yeah, but next time when you come, you know.
Yes.
So this is, I think, actually is very important. You go to restaurants, you meet with the owner directly, and the owner serves you. It makes different. You go Nobu, probably you go other restaurants, you're never going to see the owner comes, shakes your hand, or sits you, or serves you, or busts your table. I never was acting as the owner. I never sit at my table on the corner, do this, do that. It was never my...
I think I may have to change my habits because I do that.
I know how you run your restaurant. You told me that on the Flip and the Flip Chow.
Yeah, we're going to reserve that for another year.
You told me how you kick your... I mean, I don't want to say this in the radio, you're arrested, maybe, but...
Franco to keep his restaurant. So let's keep that off the air.
Yeah.
We wanted to keep it
Mary's like
restaurant.
rebuttaling me on that.
We love your restaurant, so I mean, that's your character. And Nello used to do the same.
Listen,
It was worse than you.
it's the only place I know where you could get a $75 bowl of soup and you still go back for more, right?
It was Nello's. Yes,
Nello's.
it was Nello's.
But you know what? He made that place.
He did.
It's him. It's his personality.
That's
He really made that place.
It's 100%.
Just like you make yours.
It's
What I want to talk about though is why we brought you in is page 6. Tell us about the projects that you have coming up for this summer. Will they be ready for the summer?
they have. I mean, I have to get ready. I am working on it with 20 people in one project, another couple guys in the nightclub. I took over place. It used to be One Oak,
Okay.
and with my friend.
Where was
Richie.
that located?
It's on 125 and Takal Lane, which is in Southampton, very close to my restaurant, like driving a couple minutes.
Okay.
And so it's my 3 locations now, 75 Main, and I took over the Nello space, which is across the street to my restaurant, like 2 minutes by walk.
Yeah, I've been there.
And the nightclub is very close as well. So I will be on those 3 locations and all summer long, as much as possible. Of course, I'll be more in
What is the concept for summer for Nello summer times?
I think it's going to work really well that I'm thinking. Japanese sushi concept, it's going to be the good concept for the location. There is nothing in Southampton as far as I know. And it will be unique concept.
Does Red Sticks have sushi?
Red Sticks, they don't have sushi. They
don't?
had Chinese food, same as Philip Chow. And it's different people and different location.
So are you going to have any sort of nightlife? You're going to turn it into a supper club?
Yes, there is a room in the back. As people who might know, Nello's had a special room. It's a nice, little, really nice room, and the patios.
Are you renovating anything like
yes,
that?
the hotel. The most important part, I'm building 9 rooms boutique hotel. It's gonna be ready for Memorial Day.
I remember that. I tried to get a room there, even though I know Nello very well.
You never had a chance to, because Nello will never rent it to anyone unless you're gonna pay $10,000 a night.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was just a game for Nello. But in this time, I will be the normal. I'm not gonna charge what Nello was charging. I know that people were always like judging me that, this kid is going to be the same as Nello and all, when I took over 75 Main, which I never listened to those people. And I'm a local. I do local. I cater to local people there in the winter time. The people support me, and I love my customers.
Are you busy all year round there?
All year long.
So the locals come there?
Absolutely, yeah. Now, winter, most of the people in the winter who comes, people that who couldn't come in the summer and the craziness. I mean, 75 Main itself, it's just monster. We cater like 1,300 people on Saturday. And Sundays we do 900, over 1,000 some Sundays. And the Mondays, my slowest days, which is Tuesdays, like 450 people. It's
Really?
like monster place. It's 24 hours.
The location here is great.
The location is great. People is great. Food is great. Everything is like when you pass by, you just want to come in.
Are you bringing any nightlife moguls from New York City there to run any of your places?
Yes, there's some people that I'm talking. I don't want to share it right now.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to be comfortable with it. And there's some people that I'm talking with.
Do you have a name for the new place yet?
The nightclub is going to be AM.
AM, like...
Yes, but this is the first time
AM
I'm
970, the answer?
AM. It's like I mean, I didn't steal your AM, but this is going to be AM.
You know, we're going to have to talk about that off the air. Anthony Pope, if you're listening, we got a lawsuit.
I'll give you a bottle of Dom Perignon, probably. You'll be, drop your case.
Give me a room at Nello's summertime, and we're good. We're good with that.
It's not going to call Nello's anymore, of course. That's a name, but I'm going to...
So the nightclub is going to be called the AM?
The One Oak space, they used to be. That's going to be AM as a nightclub only. We'll be open 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, and Monday.
Are you going to have big headlining DJs?
There will be the name DJs. There will be the big shot DJs and big performers and like some TV face.
Like celebrities, they're always in your place.
And most of them is my personal friends, so I will definitely approach those people and bring to the place. And just, you know what Donald Trump says? Donald Trump says, let's make America great again. I'm saying this as a let's make Hampton great again.
Yeah, well, you definitely have...
I think I'm going to bring the nightlife and the real life in the Hamptons and these old projects this summer.
Yeah, there's not really too many good places out there anymore. I know the Montauk Yacht Club, the Koch brothers was doing that. Right,
yes. They're not doing that anymore. I think the Montauk, it's still popular in the young crowd and all. Surf Lodge does really well. There are some
Jema.
places. Yeah, Jema is a great person. They have
I
good
love her. She's like
personality.
my sister, yes.
And they do well in the Montauk. It's a very small town, and there's enough people for everybody. And then now we're trying to bring the people to the Hamptons. Like people go to Montauk, all those parties and all. But if I think I can bring the people at the Nello space, like the daytime parties. Trying to build the pool there and have a nice pool party at least, daytime and the weekend, and people can come.
All right, maybe I can come part-time and be your lifeguard.
I will be. It will be good.
Absolutely. We're going to be right back with Zach Erdem from the Hamptons, Mr. Hamptons himself. Stay tuned.
I can feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it. But I love it.
Pull up a chair and stay a while. We're brunching with Franco Porporino.
Hello, how are you?
We are back with Zach Erdem, Mr. Hamptons, on Brunching with Franco. Thank you for being tuned in still to AM 970, The Answer. Zach,
Yes, Frank.
I think that what I really want to touch on to give our listeners a good laugh, because I know I have a lot of war stories, but we're going to keep it as simple and as discreet as we can. But since you worked with Nello for so long, and everybody knows Nello Balan from New York City, what would you say probably one of the most interesting stories you ever had or encounters with him?
We had a million stories. I don't know if
one that points out to just, to give him some sort of recognition, because I still have a lot of love for him. So hopefully he's tuned in from
I don't know.
from
we may
Aspen.
get a lawsuit for this. Nello is not easy man to deal with. Nello is really once he had this guy who he used the artwork, Jerome, French guy. We had all his work and all over the restaurant.
And that's beautiful work, by the way.
It was beautiful work.
That's what they were, the animals, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
all everything. So Nello was never on those. So Nello claimed that it was owner. And one day this guy came in trying to get paid. He never want to pay for it. And they had a huge fight. Nello...
No, not him. He don't fight with nobody.
Nello had a huge fight with him and kicked him out. And there was an article on New York Times that Nello Balan's not paying or giving the artwork back to artists. It was a scary point. Like, I was right next to him. When he gets that point, you don't even know who that guy is anymore. It was just scary part, and I run away. I don't know what they had
What do you mean
done.
run away? Like you just sprinted?
I got so scared. I ran away from Nello and then didn't want to be in between two. It was really scary.
Listen, for anyone that doesn't know Nello, I'm going to go on the record and say, listen, he's always been unbelievable to me. He's always treated me great.
Nello. He's a great man.
He really is.
He's a character.
And that's why, he's got a great draw. He made Nello's what it is.
Correct.
I mean, one of the things I do want to ask you, speaking about Nello's, is how is it that all the celebrities, and I mean every celebrity, has went through that door? How did that happen since you worked at Nello's? You were a manager there, correct?
I did, yes. I run Nello's, New York City and the Hamptons, both location. The location was great.
Madison
it was
Ave.
on Madison 62nd. It was great. And it's still, food was great and everything else. And the price-wise, it makes you different than the other people. If you have money, you can't come that place.
That's exactly what
You're
it is.
poor, you're not going to be that place. So people will go Nello. They know that it's going to be some good people there.
As far as...
They all share the same places. Nello has like 60 seats, small restaurant, and you're never going to see any... someone that you don't ever want to see in your life, and it's all good people there, and celebrities. It's just they live around close by. Plaza is there, all nice hotels. I think Nello is probably one of the best location, and Upper East Side is the place I will open my restaurant. As a crowd,
Upper East Side.
Upper East Side is a place you want to be.
Yeah,
The zip code is 10021 is the zip code that you want to be in New York City. Good people.
That zip
lives
code there.
That's the zip code there, and you want to be there on that area.
Okay, great. As far as Nello is concerned, also, Nello, if you're listening, I got a lot of love for you. So don't think that we're on the air roasting you. We're probably going to...
We love you,
what?
Nello.
In recognition of you, we're going to go have a drink after this at Nello's. We're going to leave the
Probably we
studio.
may get kicked out.
We might get kicked back. Maybe not.
We'll go back to Steve Boxer's place
That's it.
right next to.
We'll
next
go to
door.
Nello's and have a drink in honor of you. But let's get back to the Hamptons. Do you have a new name for the Nello Summertime?
Yes, I do have a name, but I was holding to someone I promised.
Okay.
And we can share it here, and I think people should know, and we're going to start doing the social media things.
Okay, what's the name of it?
It's called Kozo.
Kozo?
Kozo.
How do you spell that?
Kozo.
And does that mean anything?
It's a Japanese flower, but it's mean to something my family used to call me in the same name. It was very similar, my nickname as well, and the U in the end.
So it's going to be spelled Kozo?
Yes, it's a Japanese flower.
And did you come up with that concept?
Yeah, the concept, we're working on it, the chef and everyone else. And we hoping to open in May 15, probably May 20. And we will have the big grand opening.
You're going to have a soft opening, man. Are you going to invite Corey Hay there?
Corey is a nice guy, and Corey is always taking care of me. He's a good man, and we talking once a while. We might do business, or I already have someone, but still, he's a nice people to know.
Corey's a great guy. He's my publicist. As far as the food is concerned, are you bringing any big chefs from New York there?
I'm talking 2 big names, really big names, but they're not the Japanese chef, and they might create the concept with the Japanese couple guys, and then excuse me, we get those things together. But name chef is not gonna go into kitchen to cook, so they gonna come create the concept with me, and we're gonna have someone else.
Speaking about Japanese food and Chinese food, we have a good friend Costa at Philippe Chow.
Yeah, it's a great guy.
I find that very interesting how you have a Greek manager
and the Chinese
restaurant. But wait, let me go. Hopefully you're listening, Costa. And then when the doors close, he's telling me the story how the Chinese chefs won't allow him into the kitchen, so he has to wait for them all to leave.
And then he goes to kitchen.
He actually is the actual pastry chef there as well.
It does really good dessert. I love the apple pie.
We were there the other day. I think we a couple of Daffy Ducks that were on the table.
Yes. We got a couple of ducks. I remember you couldn't wait. You would keep screaming, "Where is my duck?" Like Nello. Nello used to like, "Where's my wine? Where's my wine?"
I did say, "Where's my duck?" a couple of times, right? Because I was hungry.
"Where's my duck?"
Yeah, where's my duck? That was
By the time duck came, you already full. You didn't even eat. So
you're right. I was absolutely full. We had a lot to eat there.
The food is great there.
But as far as the Hamptons is concerned, is there any other things that you're working on international?
International, I will be interested in doing business in other states that I like, Paris and London. Those are my.
So you want to just do something like a Cipriani's and launch all over?
Cipriani does really well. They're based on it. It's an Italian great restaurant, and I would like to be in the end, extending myself around the world.
Around the world.
I like to.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know Giuseppe Cipriani?
I met him through Nello. When Nello's very good friends. Used to go with this place every day, probably. He had upstairs in the downtown. Nello.
I used to host her on Thursday nights.
Nello used to take me there with him every day. Yeah, I met him a couple of times.
One of the questions I want to ask you is, since you're in New York a lot and, we frequent Philippe Chow, what are your favorite places to eat as far as when you're in New York City? Do you live semi-annually in New York City and then the Hamptons in the summer?
I live in Miami mostly in the winter time.
Come out and get an invite. I don't understand. I got a scarf on over here, and you got a place in Miami.
I never been to Jersey, though.
You
Jersey's right over here next door, but I never been to Jersey. In the city, I liked most of the restaurants. I can't say my favorite. Of course, I go Philippe Chow most of my time, Zuma, and some other Cipriani's, and my friend Maurice Monia knows a couple nice places and his places. I usually go to places that the owners are my friend. Let's do this way. I support my friend. They support me. They always in my restaurant. They always come say hi. So I will do the same. I love all the restaurants.
Speaking about restaurants, are you hand-on with your restaurant at 75 Main? So as far as your chef is there, what's
100%.
your chef? Is the chef Italian?
Chef is American, Mark Militello. He was a great chef, and he won a couple of times the best chef in America, and he has a James Beard awarded, and he's a great man.
He's still currently your executive chef there?
He's currently my chef, yes. Mostly he's active in summertime. Winter is really expensive. I had no reason to have him all winter long in the Hamptons. But in the summer, I was just on the phone with him when I was coming to the radio.
Great, so you told me to be on the show.
Yeah, we are.
And pastry chefs, and all your pastries made in-house?
Homemade, yes. Mark usually makes them, and then we have someone to follow the recipes.
Well, speaking about desserts, I know Jonathan Shaban is a dear friend of mine as well. He's always plugging 75 Main with his...
Jonathan is, he's I may have a lunch with him after show.
Today?
Yes, he's around. We were together the other day, right after I met you, and I went to see him again, and we had dinner the other day at Zuma together. He's a great friend of mine and helps me a lot with other stuff.
He's been in my restaurant a couple of times. So he's
good man to
yes,
know.
He is. What I do want to talk about also, though, is to come off the subject for a minute. I want to say something about my producer, Mary.
I love her. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. I saw her the other day.
She is pretty, but we can't go there because she has a boyfriend. Sammy's probably listening in.
I can't wait till you break up.
No, you can't go there. That's just caused a fight right now.
I'm in love with her. She's so pretty.
Yeah, no, you can't go there. She's getting married soon.
Really getting married?
He's very, very kind. That's
No,
very
she is.
So we
But
lost
yeah, that's going to cause an argument today when she gets home.
no argument.
Probably her boyfriend's listening now.
Absolutely.
I
Why
may
wouldn't
get
he be?
kicked out from the studio.
I would be. But listen, Mary, I never had the opportunity to say this, but I do want to say this. I know that Joe Piscopo says it once in a while with Frank and Alcatula. You know, I can't thank you enough, you know, for all your hard work and, you know, that you've put into my show and making it, you know, launch. So I really, really appreciate it. You know, I've never had anyone like you, and I'm being honest with that. I'm going on the air and on the record with this.
On the record.
Yeah, on the record with it. That's actually, you're pushing for this show to be successful.
I believe in it. You have a great concept, you have a great story, and you know a lot of great people. So I want everybody else to know about it, and I want everybody else to hear it. And when you are big and famous, I have it on the record, everybody. He's not going to forget me. He told me just 45 minutes ago what happens when he gets famous.
Wow. Ali, she's going on the air with that.
Record.
Wow.
Everybody's got it.
For 20%.
But no, this is great. Brunching with Franco. I mean, this is only the second show. It's been amazing. It's only going to get better.
Listen, to all our listeners also, I want to just say one thing. I know I promised you all that Armand Asante was going to be on today. He's going to be with us next week. Unfortunately, he was tied up traveling. And we're going to have him definitely on the show. Armand Asante. We have some other great guests joining us. George Lopez. I mean, just a lot of people in hospitality. I love to have Nello in the studio.
One day I'll bring him, probably.
You know what? I think I'm going to call him.
When he's in town. When he's town, I'll text him.
I want to bring him in. You know, I think we might, Eric, we're going to probably have to, you know, with Nello Balan.
We'll bring him.
Yeah, but we might have to, the beeps might be going off every other second.
Security guys here when you bring Nello here, so you might.
With Nello Balan. But for all of you guys today, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to AM 970 The Answer with Brunch with Franco. We'll see you next Sunday at the same time at 12 noon. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to speaking to you guys next week. Thank you. God bless.